He was declared public enemy number 1 of the 2000s for his daring prison escapes, bank robberies, and leadership of one of the most notorious gangs in Belgium. Even the Interpol issued a warrant against him because, captured or not, he never stops doing his criminal business. Who is this man that has frightened the entire European Union? How did he conduct his escapes? And where is he now? All this and more will be revealed in today's story. Before we start, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell to turn on notifications. He is Achraf Sekkaki, born in 1983 in Mechelen, Belgium, to Moroccan parents from Al Hoceima, a town in a mountainous region in northern Morocco. While growing up, Ashraf's behavior showed a high level of intelligence and were very distinguishable from his peers, as he manifested all his strength in committing easy robberies. At the age of 13, Ashraf's criminal acts, including robberies, carrying weapons, and from time to time importing drugs, would evolve, leading to his arrest by Mechelen police. Although he denied all the charges, he was put at a maximum security youth center in Belgium. He did his time peacefully, but on the day of his release, he conducted several carjackings as well as burglaries, whereas shootings were something exchanged. However, not until a few weeks later that he was captured and brought back to the youth center, where he was greeted by applause and whistles from his fellow inmates. This particular event made Ashraf feel some sort of pride within him. Furthermore, starting from this point, Ashraf earned the nickname of King of Escapes, which would stick to him for the remainder of his life, for he escaped from that youth center 15 times. In 1999, during his 16th birthday, which he celebrated behind bars, he attempted to escape by threatening to slit a supervisor's throat with a chisel. Consequently, the correctional justice sentenced him to 9 years in prison, though he was still a minor. But before being transferred to a turnhouse prison in Mechelen, Ashraf underwent a psychiatric evaluation for his aggressive behavior, and it was discovered that his urges to break free generated the feeling of satisfaction, which explained his endless escapes. During the following 3 years, Ashraf didn't make any attempt to break out of prison for some reason or another. But this would change in 2002. Prison guards found a small amount of heroin in his cell, which led to his life imprisonment. While serving his sentence in the turnhouse, Ashraf met a Belgian Moroccan inmate named Majid Kasmi, who had a childhood pretty much similar to Ashraf's. At the age of 14, Majid was involved in several petty thefts as well as several escapes from a youth center institution in Mol. The two inmates decided to break out of prison. While planning, they communicated in Berber so that the guards and other inmates wouldn't be aware of their intentions. The very first thing was for Sekkaki to smuggle a cell phone so as to contact his accomplices. Then on August 20th, 2003, the 20-year-old Ashraf and Majid cut a window bars using an angle grinder to commit what would be a classic escape, as they jumped the 6-meter prison wall using a ladder. When finding out about their escape, police launched a vast search for the fugitives, but there were no traces for both Majid and Ashraf, until 3 months later that the latter made his first appearance while conducting a meeting with a member of the Macro Mafia, also known as Mokro Orlog or Mokro War, which is the generic name given to Moroccan Mafia organizations specialized in the trafficking of cocaine and synthetic drugs and based in the Netherlands and in Belgium. Police were able to identify Ashraf at a fire exchange. He managed to get away and lay low for some time, before he would take part in several armed robberies on small banks that had poor surveillance video cameras, in addition to hitting AXA banks in Antwerp, which led the media to coin them the nickname of AXA Band, a criminal organization which allegedly was run by Sekkaki and Majid. During the investigations, many witnesses recognized Sekkaki and confirmed that he always had a firearm on him. This eventually led Ashraf to be considered as public enemy number 1 for his prison break, his armed robberies, and his drug trafficking, which was thriving at that time. The young man survived on the run for 5 years, until he was arrested in 2008 as he was on his way to join some relatives in the Netherlands. Sekkaki was held in Bruges prison, one of the most guarded prisons in Belgium. But not for so long that Belgium woke up on the news of another escape of Achraf Sekkaki, which was on July 23, 2009, when two of his accomplices named Hussein El-Haddouchi and Leslie Deckers, Mohammed Jouhari's girlfriend, planned a sightseeing helicopter hike to Dixmude. They asked the pilot to fly over the Jan Breidel Stadium, which is a few meters away from the prison where Ashraf was held. Upon their arrival, one of the two accomplices pointed a gun at the pilot's head, ordering him to lower the helicopter, enabling three prisoners Ashraf, Mohammed Jouhari and Abdelhak Malloul to make an epic flight. Then they carried on their plan by heading to gas stations, stealing a car and taking its owner as a hostage, leading them to be officially declared as wanted dangerous criminals by the Interpol. Shortly after their jailbreak, the group of fugitives held up 3 banks, taking huge amounts of money so as to hide and finance their runaway trip to Morocco, which they entered through driving to Spain using false documents. While Achraf Sekkaki and Mohammed Jouhari successfully fled to Morocco, Abdelhak Malloul was arrested on the 2nd of August in his brother's apartment. But because the two fugitives were internationally wanted, the Moroccan authorities provided their cooperation. Therefore, their first step toward the capture of the escapees was to put several houses belonging to the criminals' families under surveillance, which proved to be effective as Mohammed Jouhari was arrested in Burkan, a city in northeastern Morocco, while intending to hide at a relative's house. Ashraf, on the other hand, headed to Al Hoceima, but while on the road he was pursued by police. The chase ended up in Ashraf crashing with another car. Upon this, he was arrested and taken to Oujda, the capital city of the oriental region of the northeastern Morocco. During the interrogation, Sekkaki confessed to all the crimes he had committed to the Moroccan authorities alongside a representative from Belgium, and was imprisoned in Oujda. Still, a man with Sekkaki's record wouldn't surrender this easily, would he? This is why, as soon as he was put in prison, he was already thinking of how to get out. This time he relied on a friend from Antwerp, who had flown to Morocco 3 months before with Ashraf's brother, and who posed as a relative of his from Nador city so as to visit him. During these visitations, the girl would smuggle and supply Ashraf with pills that would help him lose about 10 kilograms a week. This was in order for Sekkaki to fit in a large suitcase so as to escape. Indeed, she managed to get him out of there through bribing 2 of the guards. Then she headed to get a taxi from Oujda to Nador for the purpose of leaving Morocco. However, as soon as the authorities discovered Ashraf was missing, they launched an extensive search for him, in which they succeeded in locating him at one of his relatives in the Rif Mountains, northern Morocco. Achraf Sekkaki was once again jailed along with the girl and his brother for taking part in the operation, but in 2016, Ashraf was transferred to one of the maximum security prisons in Rabat, Morocco. He told a Belgian newspaper in an interview that he didn't want to escape, as he wanted to do his time in peace and get out. However, within the same year, Belgian investigations revealed that the king of escapes was still active leading a criminal organization from his cell. This was backed up through a series of arrests that were linked to Ashraf and his brother, who are known in Belgium as big names in the macro mafia, famous for their bank robberies, kidnappings, attempted assassinations, and above all, drug trafficking. So, now you see the extent of Ashraf's crimes and why he was wanted by the Interpol. But do you really think that he is going to serve his whole sentence in prison without attempting to run away? Let us know your thoughts in general concerning Achraf Sekkaki in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Take care, I'll see you in the next video.